Okay, welcome to Leupold's Core Insider. Got a special treat today. I'm Bruce Pettet. I'm the president and CEO of Leupold, and I've got Team Drury with me today. And as many of you know, they're new partners with us here at Leupold. But certainly both Mark and Terry have used our products before in the long past, and we're happy to have you back in the Leupold family. So it's a real honor to have you guys, and just looking forward to a great long-term partnership together.
We feel the same way, and you use the word family, and that's the way we feel about it.
Yeah.
Ours is a family business. Leupold is the long-standing family business, and I think that's a key component to this. It's a natural fit for us, really, because it really is a family. The whole hunting community is a family for that matter, and it's an emotional sport, and it's nice when you can have a great relationship behind a brand or behind a television show, and that means a lot to us. So we appreciate you having us.
Yes.
Well, it's it was interesting how we got together, and I actually got introduced to the Drurys through a friend of mine, Austin Land, who actually you know pretty well, I think, right?
I do.
Yeah, so congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And,
thank you.
Austin finally got it going, huh?
He did.
Pulled the.
Thanks, Austin.
He's a good guy. What a great guide and outfitter he is.
Thank you.
He's
I appreciate that.
He's a pro, and so I've had the chance to hunt with Austin a couple times, and we've just become friends through that, and I'm so happy for you and him, Taylor.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Say congrats from the entire Leupold family.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here. I really am.
All right, well, we're at SHOT Show 2018, and we're going to talk a little bit about a number of different things, but one of the things that as Mark and I started to talk, and I spent time with Matt Drury as well, and we started talking about our relationship and what we wanted to do before we ever really even said, let's go do this. It was amazing to me how aligned we were, both from a business aspect, which is part of what we do, and being two family-owned companies and having very, very similar core values and what we believe in. But there was this one other factor to me that was absolutely incredibly clear about Mark, Terry, and the entire team was these guys are relentless. If you watch 13 and you watch anything that they do, they are incredibly passionate not only about hunting and conservation, but passionate about, frankly, whitetail hunting. And I got a chance to hunt with Mark, and we spent, a few days together. And, I don't want to offend anyone else, but I'll tell you, I don't know anyone that knows more about whitetail, knows more about how to hunt whitetail, and just gets it more than you. And so we spent a lot of time that guy too. That's the beauty of it. It's a 2-for-1 deal.
Absolutely.
But honestly, it was having that experience and spending that time, and we spent a lot of time in the blind together, and it felt like it went by like that. So it was just great. So
we had some all day sits too.
Yeah, we did.
He was in for a short period, so we were going to be relentless.
It was that phase.
It was that phase. Yeah.
Mark's like, hey, normally during this this phase or that phase, we'd go get some breakfast right now, but not in this phase.
Not in this phase. You're
Sorry.
sitting all
right
day,
here.
Bubba.
We can eat at dinner.
So, hey, let's talk a little bit about. We can talk about products in a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about 13 and just the success of the show and what it's about, and so we can kind of make sure we get it out to our Leupold core insiders.
Absolutely. 13 was new to us. I mean, we've been hunting whitetails our whole lives. Terry probably 50-plus years.
50 years.
50 years. I've been hunting them 40 years, and we became infatuated with them at a young age. And we had the opportunity about 5 years ago to change our most popular show on television. It was Wildlife Obsession at that time. And we always like to innovate, and we're relentless in whitetail hunting. We're also relentless in the way that we deliver our media and our message. And we said, you know what? We kind of feel this is getting a little stale, and it was our number one show. And we were like, we got to rebrand it, redo it. What could we do to make it even better? And it was something we were already practicing in the way that we approached the deer season. And deer are very, very different at different times of the year. And we identified 13 key phases where they change like a light switch. From phase 1 to phase 2, they start acting completely different. Then they change again in 3 and all the way on through 13. And I'll let Terry elaborate beyond that as to why we wanted to expose that, our hunting methodology, to the rest of the deer hunters in the country.
Well, I think part of it was the fact that he and I, number one, are passionate about it. That goes without saying. But we're the most analytical people when it comes to whitetails. Yeah. And for a very, very long time, we've always compared notes. You know, regardless where we were hunting, if he was in one state and I was in another, we constantly were comparing notes at the end of the day. How was your movement? It was great. How was yours? It sucked. You know, so we were trying to figure out why. And the analytics came into almost really exponentially, because we were looking at every aspect as to when they moved, why they moved. Was it weather dependent? Was it wind direction? Was it wind speed? Was it moon? What elements entered into that? And by comparing notes, we started acquiring or amassing a lot of knowledge in our beady little brains by default, really. And Matt Drury was the one that said, hey, you guys really need to divulge that information to the viewing public and let them know what's in your heads, and show them why you're killing deer. Because as the years went on, we started getting a little bit more successful because the analytics really helped us know when they were going to be moving, and really developed it more so over the last 5 to 10 years. The first 15 to 20 were pretty experimental. You know, we made every mistake in the book, just like every novice whitetail hunter, every experienced whitetail hunter. So we've made all of those mistakes, but we learned by each and every one of them. And I think just the fact that we're so analytical, and we always compared notes and then tried to formulate a reason why they were moving, when they were moving, and what phases they were turning it off and turning it on, and what effects the weather conditions had, what effects moon had, barometric pressure, all of those elements that we use, we call them influencers. Every one of those elements or influencers was the reason that we started being a little bit more successful as time went on. Yeah. And part of it was the fact that we were so willing to share those notes with each other and saying, man, I can't figure it out why they didn't move today. And it'd be like, man, my deer moved great. So it was a lot of us just kind of comparing notes on a daily basis, 2 and 3 times a day.
Yeah, it's so cool because, you know, a lot of times I think all of us as hunters have seen over time and this tendency of well, I figured it out and I don't, you know, it's my deal, you know. And what I love about you guys is that sharing of knowledge that you all do with the whitetail nation out there, right? And this passionate population that we care a lot about hunting whitetail, and as opposed to, you know, that well, I've got the secret sauce. You share your secret sauce, you know, and it's having that many years of experience and being able to share that with someone who maybe's only hunted whitetail a few times, just really increases the success rate.
We believe, and it goes back to those core values, that when you start making something about you and not them, you're going the wrong direction. So everything we do, whether it be a television show, a social media post, just a general interaction, it has to be about them, you know, not us. We say it all the time in our studio. It's them, not us. And that's the way we look at it. And whether that's we're talking about the deer or the end user, if we're not making it about them, we're making a mistake. You know, you can't sit there and beat your own chest. You've got to make them better hunters. You've got to take the deer and make them the star of the show, not us. Yeah. And we just believe that in our hearts.
Well, you do it. It's incredible. It's great. And I know that, you know, just the feedback that I've gotten in the short time that we've been together is it's appreciated. It's appreciated in the industry. It's appreciated by consumers that you guys have this mission to really go out and educate on, hey, here's how we all do it better as a hunting family. And that's a big deal.
Ironically enough, we get a lot of feedback as well, and you know, via emails where they said, hey, phase 6, I finally killed a deer, you know, or phase 5, I didn't know why, and you guys helped me kill a deer this year. So it's nice to get those responses back in, too. It makes you feel very good about what you're doing.
And in addition to that, some of it is by default because there are some shows out there where the hosts are incredibly funny. There are other shows out there where they're incredibly good looking. We are none of that, so we had to be information.
Taylor's not bad looking.
She's the exception. This goes back to when we first started. We finally covered good looking with Matt and Taylor.
You got these two.
So, but when it comes to the old guys, not funny, not good looking, we better have something here. We better start teaching people. So
you guys are pretty brilliant how you set it up and recruited the talent too, though. I really like it. It's smart. It's smart.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And we're so blessed that they are both as passionate passionate about the sport as we are and about business. We're
Yeah.
blessed in that to have them both. They're incredible assets.
Yeah.
I wouldn't trade either of them for anyone in this building within their roles.
Well, the other thing that that I, just in the time that we've been together, that I'll tell you this, Team Drury is truly that. It's Team Drury. This isn't one or the other. You guys truly are a family. It's obvious. When I was out there, Terry, you had your fall and
little spill,
a little spill, and I don't want to embarrass him, but I got to tell you had a brother that was pretty worried. He was on edge, kind of worrying about his big bro. So it was pretty special to see the family and just how you guys come together.
Well, and I will say that we're a very, very close-knit family, in addition to Mark, our other siblings, and the prayers was the reason that I'm sitting here right now. There was a lot of them came in to help me get through it, and I was lucky in the fact that I wasn't injured any worse than I was, but that whole prayer train was the reason that I was able to make a recovery as quickly. I'm convinced of that, 100%.
Yeah,
100% convinced. So we're very blessed to have a loving family like we do, a close-knit group.
Yeah, that's awesome.
He fell a long way to only have the injuries he sustained. Now, granted, they were serious and a lot of pain. He's still in pain as he sits here right now, I'm sure.
Little bit.
In the last few meetings, I've seen him get up and get down, and you can see he's uncomfortable, But we're just very blessed to have Terry in the shape that he is after the fall that he took.
Yes.
He fell a long way.
I was. It was fantastic to see how quickly he got back at his passion.
11 days.
That probably wasn't the smartest thing I've ever done.
I was amazed.
It was 11 days, but it was not very smart, really. And I knew I was going to be doing some permanent damage maybe when I did it, but it was November the 11th or 10th when I fell.
What are you going to do?
I had to go. Yeah, you talk about the relentless passion.
Yeah.
That's all we know. That's how we grew up, and I wasn't about to miss November or December, and I probably did a little bit of damage. Maybe will regret at some point, but it turned out to be pretty good.
He went on a pretty good run. He killed four giants after the fall. You hadn't killed a deer up till the fall, and then he fell, missed 11 days, and then he just went on a spree, man. I mean, it was just there was blood everywhere in his tracks. I mean,
the definition of relentless.
That's it.
Literally.
11 days later.
But again, that's all we know, and that's our job. And where we grew up in a construction environment, and our pop was the epitome of a boss, the big boss man. If you had a dictionary and you open it up, his finger would be there pointing at you. He was a pretty tough cookie back in the day.
Incredibly.
So there was no slacking, there was no sitting around, there was no laying around.
Better answer the call.
You better answer the call on a daily basis. He didn't care how late you stayed out or how you felt. You were going to be working the next morning at 6 a.m. or 5:30, and that was kind of how we grew up. And that work ethic, yet to this day, Matt and Taylor both represent that quite well. And I think obvious. A lot of it starts at the top. Our pop was one of those guys. He expected it, and we just did it. We didn't know any different.
Right.
So when it came to doing this type of work in the hunting industry, we've tried to bring that same work ethic aboard.
Well, you clearly have, and just congratulations on what you've been able to establish. It's pretty special.
Thank you. That's nice of you to say.
Likewise.
Mm-hmm.
Likewise.
Yes.
When we think about Leupold, the first thing you think of is it reeks of quality, and that's exactly what we're interested in, is that quality, and makes us to be proud to be a part. It really does. We're very honored, very humbled.
Very, yes.
Yeah, it's we've got 700 employees in Beaverton, Oregon, and we make rifle scopes 7 days a week, and in doing that, there is this passion for quality and making sure that everything that we do enables our consumers and our fans to be able to create those epic moments, right? And so we talk about working to create epic moments. That's our core purpose at Leupold and Stevens. And what that means is not just making sure that our product's going to deliver at a time when you and Taylor are hunting together and you have that epic moment and you get to talk about it 2 Thanksgivings later. I do that with my boys, and it's a special thing. But more importantly, making a product that we know and we get the feedback that our warfighters use, and they come back and say, hey, I was in a tough spot, and my optic was right on, and those are the things that give me chills when we talk about it.
Yes.
But I can tell you got 700 people in Oregon that care passionately about making sure we don't let them down. So whether it's making sure they can make that shot after sitting all day long and being patient and being smart about their hunting situation, or whether it's in a tough place far away, we want to make sure it works. So it's part of what we do,
and that shows. It's very
Yes.
evident.
Shows.
Yeah.
Very evident. And really, from an old guy, I'm the oldest guy in the room, your eyesight, as it deteriorates when you start to get a little bit older, I look at quality of glass.
Yeah.
And it's so nice to be able to throw up either a set of binoculars or scope and everything be so crisp and clear for eyes that are a little bit substandard. It's amazing at the quality of glass that you guys implement. That's really key.
To the edges, and then
Yes.
that last 15 minutes.
Yes.
I mean, it's
amazing.
unbelievable
Yes.
what they look like when you throw them up and go, oh, my God.
Oh, my God. That's it. It's oh, my God.
Yeah,
it's we have an incredible engineering department. We've got about 80 engineers, and that's what they work on every day. And we're really proud of our Twilight Max system. And we know that that's a huge differentiating factor, besides the fact that we make every single one. Any optic that you're going to look through and you're going to pull the trigger and gets mounted on a firearm, it's got to come out of our factory. So we are truly American to the core. It's a big deal to us. That's our promise. But the engineering to come up with Twilight Max and make sure that we have a product that performs in that first 15, last 15, it's just no one touches us. And it's such a big differentiator. And we've taken that now, that technology, and we've driven that through all of our observation product as well. So if you've got a Pro Guide HD, or if you're looking through a pair of binoculars, it's the same thing. You get that low light performance, and it makes a huge difference. I mean, I can't tell you times that I've been out with friends or whatever, and they're like, "We're done." I say, "Well, it's still legal. We got legal light." No, I can't. Here, check that out. Look through that.
I can see. Can you?
You may be done.
Yeah.
But that's something we're real proud of. So we're gonna continue to innovate. I mean,
it's a big differentiator on the cloudy days, because we always say, from a video standpoint, cloud cover, particularly thick cloud cover, you're going to lose about 20 or 30 minutes. Well, you gain that back with the Twilight
Yes.
Max.
That's
You
right.
really get it right back, because on a normal day, you got decent light 30 minutes beyond sunset, which is generally when legal ends in most states. But on those cloudy days, you lose 20 or 30 minutes of daylight.
Easily.
Well, you get it back with Twilight Max.
Yeah.
That's when I noticed it the most, those dingy, dark days.
yeah. This year, so at SHOT Show here, we've introduced a couple of new products. One that I wanted to talk to you guys about is this what we call the VX Freedom line of scopes, and we have been working hard over the last few years to continue to drive our technology into price points that make sense for a wide range of our consumers. And our vision is to be the dominant performance optics company. And we take performance seriously, so it has to perform. It doesn't get out of the factory if it doesn't perform. That's a really important thing. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that you've got to go out and spend $2,000 on a rifle scope. We've really done, I think, in our engineering team, an amazing job with the VX Freedom, which I have right here, of taking the product into a level. This will actually start at retail at $179, which we've
crazy.
We haven't done, made in our factory. Okay, we haven't done that before, and you get that Twilight Max coating on it, so that same optical performance that you get all the way through our line, you're going to get with this as well.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Yes.
so it's going to be a really, really good one for us, and we're just now starting to hit retail out there, and the response so far has been tremendous.
Whether you're Taylor's age, or whether you're Mark's age or my age, that's value. When you can
Yes.
buy a scope like that for that price point,
That quality.
someone her age could afford that.
Right.
It's affordable.
Yeah.
And yet you've got the value and the quality of optic that I'm looking for.
Yep.
So it really goes across the board in a wide range of people. I'm impressed with that.
We started about 3.5 years ago at really going through our rifle scope product line, and we started with the VX6 HD, which came out last year, and a huge success and really great. I mean, it is the bar none best hunting scope on the market. But that's that gets up there to roughly $1,500 depending upon feature sets and stuff. You're up around that, and then we also launched the VX5 HD,
right.
which now comes down to below $1,000. And in my opinion, it's the best value in the market at that roughly just under $1,000 range, and it, it's a 2-turn dial on it. It's got a bunch of features. So I think the key is what we did is we started up here and we began to build value in every piece of the line, because I want to make sure if you got $200 to spend and that's what you're going to do, I want to make sure that Freedom delivers for you. But if you got $1,000, I want that to be the best value that you can possibly get. And I don't know that we've always told a good enough story on everything you get with that Leupold scope. And so we're doing that now, and we're going to make sure that when a consumer buys it, they're absolutely happy with what they do. We guarantee it for life. So
we're happy.
We're happy.
Couple of other things. First, I wanted to just talk to Taylor a little bit about we've got a lot of female hunters in our company. You're going to love to meet them when you get a chance to come out and visit us in Beaverton. But just being a female hunter and being a bit of a celebrity in our industry now, I just wanted to get your feeling on kind of where it's going with women hunting and the kind of reception you've been getting.
It always puts a smile on my face thinking about it, because I always say back when I started hunting, I was 7-8 years old, and that was 12 years ago, and there wasn't a lot of products out there that was to help women, encourage them get in the outdoors. And it's very encouraging to walk around SHOT Show and ATA, the trade shows, to see the products and the innovation from companies like you guys, whether it's gear, optics, that embrace female hunters. And I think it's important, and the numbers on the rise, that obviously puts a huge smile on my face. There's a lot of girls like Eva, she's on the Leupold family, that are truly making a difference and spreading that positive message about why it's not a stereotypical man's duty to hunt. It's for everyone. It's to, no matter what age you are, what gender, it's the best lifestyle on earth. So I think it's important for females and all female hunters to continue to spread that message and encourage people why we're out there, why we love it so much, the bond that it creates amongst the family, or if it's the stories you're telling, over the meal at the table. It's just very important, especially to our family, and I knew you'd probably say the same. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, that's what's going to be great as you kind of move to this next step in your life with Austin, and you both are passionate hunters. What an incredible thing to get to share today. I'm lucky. So my wife hunts, and we do it together a lot, and it's a great experience, and it's so fun when you're with someone, and there's more joy in what they accomplish and watching that than if you do it yourself, and that's just that's a really cool thing.
It truly is. Hunting creates this bond that it's hard to explain if you're not a hunter. It's one of those things that you deeply appreciate it every day, that you have that bond. Just, Dad and I, whether it's Dad and I, you and me, the bond that you can create even within the family business, but all around hunting. Yeah. It's amazing.
Well, thanks for what you do, and keep it going, and it's you, Eva, and a number of the other female hunters that are really carrying the message. It's powerful.
Thank you. So I appreciate that.
Well, how fitting that her and Austin met while hunting.
That's awesome, right?
Right? I met my wife online. I met my wife in a bar. A friend introduced me. No, my husband was my guide on an antelope hunt. That's a pretty cool story. They met on a hunt.
Yeah.
We were a little suspicious about that hunt.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's...
Yeah, I came home like, hey, this long-haired guy.
He's cleaned up a little.
He has.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Well, hey, I know we don't normally do this on these, but we're going to do a little shift and get Matt in here.
Yep.
We only had 4 headsets. We're at SHOT Show, and we're going
to swap.
Going, but we want to get Matt in real quick.
Hi, Matt.
Here he is.
Hello, everybody.
Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Good. Matt and I had a chance to meet early on, and in fact, the truth is, we weren't even done yet, right?
No,
we were still talking and
we were
working on things, and I was thinking about it as we were talking about working together, and Mark and I had a couple conversations, and we were talking with Matt, and we had an opportunity to elk hunt. We actually we're going elk hunting in Utah, and we had one of our customers that was going with us couldn't make the hunt, and I said, this is going to be the best way to figure this out. And so I called up and said, hey, Matt, you think you can make this elk hunt? And he said, what?
Yeah.
And he said, hold on, let me talk to my wife.
Yeah.
And
So
then,
everything starts there, right? Yeah. And then you figure out the details.
Right.
Honey, can I go? And yes, you may. Okay, let's figure out. I got to get a scope. You guys shipped us a scope right away.
Yeah.
We got it on the gun. It was a bucket list. That's something I've always wanted to do in general.
Yeah.
And usually you have time to plan for something that's kind of so monumental. So not only did I have kind of that thing that's in the pit of your stomach, the butterflies, so to speak, of, oh, man, I'm going to get to do a bucket list hunt. But, for me, representing Mark and Terry and Taylor and our Drury team, there's a little bit of, a bigger butterfly in there based on that. It's like, all right, I need to go in and represent us well and make sure that my gun shooting, that the scope's on, that I understand, because it was some new technology from what we were accustomed to.
Yeah.
So I had to understand what the CDS, the language, make sure that I knew what it is that I was using. And so going to the gun range and kind of practicing and, using a couple box of Winchester shells, going through that XPR, it gave me that confidence going into the hunt that, all right, I know how this works now. And then, of course, once we got to Utah, you guys explained even further, okay, so, you get it dialed into 100, and this thing's already, it's dialed in for your gun, the 30-06, the XPR, you're using a 190 grain bullet. We got all that figured out. All you got to do is zero it into 100 and then start turning that dial.
Yeah.
And it worked like a charm, man. It gave me the confidence, because once we got to Utah, we shot on the range for a full day, there as well. So by the time that Wednesday rolled around, I guess that was Monday we got out to Utah, or Sunday, started hunting Monday. And by the time Wednesday rolled around and I had an opportunity, had all the confidence in the world.
Yeah, it's that CDS system, that custom dial system. I'll tell you, once people use it, they never want anything else, right?
You got that right.
It's just incredible, and Terry, I know you've probably seen some of the footage now, but
yes.
This guy, he comes in, and it's a pressure situation. I knew it coming in because, new partners and,
there's a lot at stake.
Yeah, I got my VP of product. We're talking all this stuff, and this thing's all going on. Matt, I got a chance to watch that hunt because we were hunting on a separate area, and we actually were looking down from a further mountaintop, and we see these guys working in on this, and so I'm up there with a spotter far enough away where we can sit there and watch Matt do his thing, and it was so cool. And we just sat there and watched his approach, and I'm like, man, that's a tough shot. It's windy. It's absolutely blowing like crazy, and I see him moving his dial, and he gets there and gets steady, and boom, one shot. It was awesome.
He fell over right there, 5 steps.
Hey, there's a lot of, you know what? You need to take some credit for that because there's a lot of guys that can't pull that off.
The hardest part was the wind because in the scope, relatively speaking, as far as the range of what the scope could do, I mean, I would have been able to shoot him out to 300, 400, 500 based on the technology of the scope.
Yeah.
He was at 211, I think, so I was lucky in that respect, but it was straight down.
Crazy. Yeah.
It was straight down. And the angle is what surprised me once we went down there to, recover the animal. I mean, coming back up that mountain range, it was unbelievable. It was basically right on the spine.
Yeah.
And so sitting on top of that knob, the wind, the windage, so to speak, that's what was the hardest part of the entire hunt.
Yeah.
Because I had the vitals, I had them in the scope, but I mean, I was doing this, and I could see I was moving at least 12 inches on his vitals. And going back to, I don't want to mess this up. A lot's riding on this, not to mention you're watching me. And I didn't know it at the time, but there were several other trucks of people watching across other mountaintops,
It's big country.
There was some pressure there.
and some distance.
Right before that, we had kind of blown a stock that you guys watched, so.
I wasn't going to bring that part up.
Yeah, well, so we're going in on a really nice bull, and we never could see him in the way the terrain lays. We just could never see him, so we'd stalk another. It was fairly open.
Yeah.
Stalk another 200 down these shelves, another 400 yards, another 300 yards, or whatever, and we'd see a bull. Is that him? You throw the Leupolds up. Nope, that's not him. Keep going. And the terrain was so open, we had the wind in our favor, so as long as, and it was so windy, as long as they didn't visually spot us, we were good to go. We kept going in and going in. Finally, we got to where I could hear him bugling right below us, but we couldn't see him. And then a cow pops her head up. She spots us, and they kind of take the whole herd out. And, this is probably an hour stalk going into that point.
Yeah.
And, dejected would be an understatement. So finally, we just kind of run to the edge of that knob, and we start glassing and looking, and we found the bull that ultimately I ended up shooting. So it all worked out, but it was pretty tense there for a few moments.
Yeah, it was really cool. I think that's the other thing that you get with our TBR system and our rangefinder. So this actually is one of our new rangefinders. This is a 1600 with our true ballistic range. And what you get with that is when you're dealing with those angles like that, you know that when you range it, that's actually where you're holding, right? So if you range 211 yards, you dial to 211, you hold that. If you range 415 yards, that's exactly where you're going to be. And that technology is one of the things that sets us apart, of giving you that true ballistic range right there in the rangefinder.
Well, and that was obviously a gun hunt, but that's so key in archery. To have that ability when you're 20 foot up in a tree, to have that true angle. That's important. You got to know. So it's the products are just second to none.
No, it's good stuff. It was you did a great job, and it was great more importantly to get a chance to spend some time with you and hang out a little bit. And there's no better place. That's the thing we do have, is there's no better place to do it than to get a chance to hunt together. So
in that spot specifically, you don't really get service at all, so you're disconnected. Yeah. And it gave us a week of just one-on-one time. When you're back from the hunt, you have all evening there, and you get time to know each other. And that's what hunting camps are all about, whether it's business or otherwise, getting to sit there and the fellowship of your fellow hunters. That's special, and that's the bond that Taylor referred to that we all have, and it goes beyond family. You create friendships. We were complete strangers going into that.
Yeah.
And
exactly right.
now we can call each other friends going forward.
Absolutely. Hey, I wanted to share one thing with you. When we were there, I don't know if you remember this, but we were there, and I actually had our South African partner who heads up our distributor over there with me. And Marco had asked me, he said, hey, listen, can we do a lot for AntiPoaching in Kruger National Park. And we had a conversation about it, and we actually donated some of our thermal device, our Leupold tracker, because there's a lot of stuff that goes on at night, and it helps them to identify what they're dealing with. And so that product, there you go.
This is awesome, by the way.
Yeah,
you're going to love this.
Yeah, Terry, I'm going to show this to you when we get done here. It's pretty cool, but we donated a dozen of these to the anti-poaching team in Kruger. And it was really cool because, Matt said, hey, do you guys want to film, talk about it and film it? And we'd be happy to do that for you and send that to you. And, right, it's not something that he would have to do. And he said, just let's do it. And because he got a cameraman there. Yep. And really neat thing. And so I just saw last night the show.
Product?
Yeah, they went in, they got it on the guys, and then
awesome.
It had that product, had our interview on there,
awesome.
And
very
talking
good.
about
Nice.
what we were doing to really help stop poaching in Kruger, which is insane and
it's
incredibly
life and
dangerous.
Death there, it's
life or death.
Yeah,
and I just want to say thank you for doing that. They used that, but it was just not something that Matt had to do, and he did it, and things like that. That means a lot to us.
I think it goes back to the fellowship. It's whatever we can do to help. That doesn't affect me specifically or Drury Outdoors, but that's the hunting community. That goes back to stewardship and so many more things, the ecosystem of what we love.
Right.
It's the right thing to do, so it was a no-brainer. Yeah. So happy to help.
Well, I really appreciate that, and it's making a difference, and we're going to continue to support not only conservation organizations across the globe, but really what we do here. And there's just so many good things that go on, and we're proud of the fact that as an optics manufacturer that we're in the lead on supporting conservation, whether it's Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation or what we do with the Mule Deer Foundation, et cetera. We're going to continue to support those organizations. It's a big deal for us. So Well, I want to extend an open invitation to all four of you to make a trip out to Oregon when you get a chance. We'll get it set up, and I know our team at Leupold would love to have you come through and tour the factory. It helps a ton when you see how we do it.
It's a must. We have to.
Yeah, and I think you guys we'll have a great day together, and we can continue to build on this great partnership that we've started. And I one thing I'll tell you with all four of you, I feel like that this has been going on not just a few months, but it feels like a few years already, which is a testament to how well the two companies and brands mesh together.
They fit well.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Absolutely.
Thanks, guys, for spending the time. I know you're busy here at SHOT, but we really appreciate it.
We appreciate you having us. It's an honor.
All right.
Thank you, Bruce.
Thank you, Bruce.
Terry,
appreciate
thank
it.
you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks,
Thank
bud.
you. Appreciate it.
All right. Bye, guys. Core Insider, signing off.